Yeah, so we're live. Yo, what's going on? Hold on.
Peace.
Hold on. Oh, that's yo, what's going on, everybody? It's Rob Brown, LMT, the People's Fitness Professional. Yo, should I change that? Should I change it to something else? The People's Fitness Professional, or should I
You're,
keep it?
you're the people fitness professional. You just gave me an advice, man. I was overheated. You told me what to do. Come on, man.
That's
Come
what's
on,
up.
man. What's that? Just don't call yourself a doctor and be screaming out Rahabatat.
Oh, nah. Yo, what do y'all think about the show, man? What do y'all think about the show, man? I need some feedback out there, and the streaming platforms like Spotify and all that. Oh, brother's been asking about what you call it, man, having a thing where they could call in.
Yeah,
They
man. We
could
got
call
get
in.
that up there.
Call in. So yeah, we're gonna have that feature soon. We're working on it, man. Understand that it's just a 2-man team, really. And
Exactly, it is.
oh, yo, thank you. Yo, what's this? Vash Bay. Thank you, man. Awareness Daily. Yeah, brothers. So we run this show by ourselves, and we work a lot.
Yeah, we do.
We have families and stuff like that. So for us to pull this off is kind of ill, honestly.
And shout outs to Vash Bay and Awareness Daily. Awareness Daily. I be seeing them, man. I be seeing this page, man. Dropping a lot of info.
Yeah,
Enlightened brother, man. He's an NYP family.
yes, sir. Yes, sir. We now look. Check this out. Everybody waiting for Sharif. I know y'all waiting for Sharif for us to talk about the racial wealth gap or what have you.
Yup.
But before he comes on, let's talk about these hats, right? So, oh, he's on now. We're gonna have the merch. We have the merch, really. We just want to be able to distribute it properly. We've been telling y'all that for a minute, but we don't want it. It's being in this community, the so-called black community, right? You do one thing wrong, they'll step on you. Step on you. So we're just trying to make sure that we do everything right and exact. So we don't want to put any hats out and people don't get their orders or they're delayed on the orders and now we got to explain and all of that. Nah, we're just trying to make sure we do business the right way. So hats coming soon. Let's bring brother Sharif on to talk about the
we are about integrity. We're not here to con you.
Indeed. Because we don't even come from conning culture, you know what I'm saying?
That was the conscious community stuff.
Nah.
Particular characters were doing that.
Yeah,
not
so
us.
What you see is what you get with us, man.
Yeah, shout out to Richard Bey.
Richard Neil Bey. Richard Neil Bey, my bad, brother. I know we spoke about doing shows and all that, but if you heard in the beginning, we work a lot outside of this. So we're gonna build. We'll talk. But we're gonna bring our brother Sharif Bey on. What's going on, brother?
Islam.
It's good.
Grand sheet.
We got a tornado warning here. It's raining cats and dogs here.
Oh wow. In Syracuse. So we got do you want us to hit you with the questions or you just want to go straight into the presentation?
We can do both. You can hit me with the questions, then we can go right into it.
Okay. Richard Neil Bey, you on TikTok? Okay. That's what's up. So let's go into the presentation first.
Okay, let's do that. That's better. Yeah.
Man. That's easier for you. So let's do that. All right. I'm gonna put the slide up. You ready?
Let's go.
All right. There you go.
Racial wealth gap from a Moorish American perspective. That's basically what we're going to talk about. And again, as the listeners should know, the last show we did was on reparations, and which is a pretty strong show, right? But the racial wealth gap is a major issue, connected to the reparations, argument or the reparations matter, right? And so, again, a lot of us are starved in the sense of being able to having the right information, to be able to put our finger on the pulse of the real issues. What we face right now in the present day is the status quo pointing at us, whether it's the conservatives or the liberals. It doesn't matter. They just have a different way of pointing the finger. And they point at our people and go, it's just Black culture. You guys are lazy and you're listless and you're ignorant. That's why you're in the condition you're in.
Mm-hmm.
That's not true. I mean, in some respects, it's life imitating art. In some respects, it's us imitating or emulating conditions that were previously pressed on you, forced on you. So it's in that sense, it's like what's the syndrome?
Stockholm.
Stockholm.
No, it's like Stockholm syndrome. Yeah. We're on autopilot, repeating the oppressive or the oppression. We're repeating the oppression. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
We're continuing the oppression. So the oppression's on autopilot. So now the perpetrators can point at us, can point at the victim and blame the victim. Right?
Yes, sir.
You was gonna say something, Mikey?
No, I'm listening. I'm just like, this is crazy.
And so now is some of the onus on us? Of course it is, and we're gonna get into that. But we're gonna make things balanced, and provide the balance of the information as to how we got in this particular situation. All right, let's go to the next slide. Racial wealth gap defined. It refers to the disparity in assets of typical households across lines of race and ethnicity. The gap in assets is far wider than disparities in wages. That's important right there. That's very important. The gap in assets is far wider than the disparity in wages across racial lines. There's a reason for that. We're going to get to it. Income inequality, housing policies, limited educational opportunities, and a lack of support structures contribute to the racial wealth gap. Those are generalities. Let's get to some specifics. Next slide. All right. So we're going to a very crucial point in history right now.
You about to go deep.
Before, quote unquote, the racial wealth gap. Okay. So what we're looking at here is hidden or repressed American history.
Oh my.
We're looking at the point in time when Reconstruction was working. Reconstruction didn't fail, people. Reconstruction was overthrown. I will provide references to that in this presentation. Reconstruction was overthrown. It didn't fail. It was overthrown. And the overthrowing of that we can properly call in history the Second Civil War. See, the Confederates only lost physically.
Got you.
They only lost physically. Now, there's certain aspects of what took place when they lost that most Americans are not familiar with today, even though it's an integral part of American history. Here are the things that we do know, or many people do know. First and foremost, Congress does not call the Civil War the Civil War. It refuses to, and it's unable to call it the Civil War. Why? It's unable to call it the Civil War because wars happen between nations. And when the Confederacy succeeded, the whole purpose of the conflict was to restore the Union. So Congress is unable to recognize the Confederacy as what it tried to become, an independent nation. They formed the Confederate States of America with its own constitution. They did that, but Congress didn't recognize that. So in congressional record, it's not called the Civil War, it's called the Rebellion. So when they lost and they were reabsorbed back into the Union, they were reabsorbed under certain conditions. They had to ratify the 14th and 15th Amendments. You hear people on the right to this day arguing the validity of the 14th and 15th Amendments, and now you know why. Okay? They were force ratified, and federal troops were quartered in the borders of these southern states to enforce it. That's important. Now, here's something that most people don't know. The members of the former Confederacy had their voting rights temporarily suspended. These pictures here are proof. They're the evidence to that fact. That is why by 1870, the majority of the southern state legislatures looked like you and I. That's why. Because their voting rights were temporarily suspended. They couldn't vote.
Brother Reef.
Yes, sir.
That pitch right there, I remember. Are those the Odd Fellows or the Brown Fellows? Something like that?
Well, many of them were Odd Fellows.
Yeah.
But let me tell you what they are.
Yeah.
Those were senators, state senators from the state of Louisiana.
Yeah.
In 1870. That's who they are.
Yeah.
Who would have thought? Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly.
Who would have thought? Now, why am I bringing this up as it relates to the racial wealth gap? Here's why. Remember, government is management. Management of what? Management of the public money and interest. Okay? Politics and government are not the same. Politics is the ongoing public relations campaign that determines who the managers will be.
Mm-hmm.
But government is management. And they manage the public pot. Let me say that again. They manage the public money on behalf of the citizens. This is why politics is such a dirty game.
Exactly.
It's a dirty game because politics is what determines who the managers will be.
Make strange bedfellows.
There you go. Next slide. That's right.
Oh.
See, I want you all to get I want the viewers to get a solid foundation on this thing. This is a very important part of history right here. The Compromise of 1877. Okay? It was an unwritten agreement or arrangement among European U.S. congressmen to settle the disputed 1876 presidential election. That's what it was. Republican Rutherford B. Hayes. Now, I gotta contextualize this. Remember, people, remember, today, the Republican Party is the vehicle for the conservative issues. The Democratic Party is the vehicle for the liberal issues. In this period of time, it was reversed. The Democratic Party were the conservatives. That is why the KKK, the White League, and the Red Shirts were the military arm to protect the white vote, and they were Democrats.
Say it again.
Pro-slavery was a conservative issue. Abolition of slavery was a liberal issue. Okay? And the Republican Party at that time was the vehicle for liberalism. This is very important to understand, people, so we can keep up. All right? So Rutherford B. Hayes was a Republican. Okay? Now, let's do a little test to see if people are paying attention. If pro-slavery was a conservative issue, and the Democratic Party were the party of the conservatives at that time, and the abolition of slavery was a liberal issue, and the champions of liberalism at that time were the Republican Party. Which side, Union or Confederacy, was more leaning towards the Democratic Party?
Explain. Say that question. Ask the question again.
Okay, slavery was a conservative issue, and
Yep.
the Democratic Party was the party for conservatism at that time.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, the Republican Party championed anti-slavery, abolition. That was a liberal issue at that time. Now you have the Civil War. Knowing what the Civil War was fought over, which party more favored the Confederacy, and which party more favored the Union?
At that time, I said the Democrats. Yeah, because they funded the Ku Klux. Many of them were members
Now
of the
you got it.
Klan.
Okay, this is important because we have to have proper context, and we have to be able to follow this thing and not get left because that's it. Okay, so Rutherford B. Hayes was a Republican, and he won in a controversial win over Samuel Tilden. Right? There was controversy, but they came to an agreement. Who's the they? The Confederate sympathizers in the South. They said, listen, we'll let it rock. We'll let Rutherford B. Hayes do his thing if you all agree to pull the federal troops out of the South. Okay, so remember, from 1865 to 1870, those 5 years, the Confederates couldn't vote. The Confederate sympathizers couldn't vote. And we voted by the thousands and put people like you and I, looking like you and I, in office. We were able to do it because their voting rights were suspended and there were federal troops quartered in the southern states.
I know where you're going with this, Reef. I kind of sense it.
All right.
I see where you're going with it.
Right. So they removed the federal troops in the South that were essential for the survival of Republican state governments, meaning governments that were run by people that look like us. In South Carolina, Florida, Louisiana, effectively ending Reconstruction. This is how Reconstruction was overthrown. African-American Republicans and elected officials were betrayed, lost power, became subjected to domestic terrorism to suppress African-American voting. By 1905, nearly all African-American Asiatic men were disenfranchised by state legislatures in every southern state. Terms of the compromise included legislation to help industrialize the South, to restore its economy upon the loss of slaves and the war, and the right to deal with African Americans without Northern interference. What we're looking at here is the agreement that caused the rise of the KKK, the emergence of the literacy tests, poll taxes, all of that foolishness to disenfranchise us politically. Now, remember what I said, the purpose of government is what? Management. What does it manage? The public money. Next slide. Right. See, what we're describing here is the political or the political environment that gave rise to all of these African-American run cities.
Got you.
Okay. We know about Black Wall Street and percentage-wise how many millionaires it produced. Well, you can't produce millionaires and be financially and have poor financial literacy. Exactly. You can't produce millionaires, especially during this era, which was segregation, Jim Crowism. You ain't producing millionaires if you're not practicing community economics.
Talk about it.
All right. This is a short list of African-American cities that were literally overthrown. Literally. This is a small list. This isn't the complete list. You got Lawrence, South Carolina in 1870, Utah, Alabama in 1870, Meridian, Mississippi in 1871, Colfax, Louisiana 1873. Vicksburg, Mississippi, 1874. Coshada, Louisiana, 18. You see the list. All the way up to Rosewood, Florida, in 1923. Now you're seeing how this was able to happen. They had to first take control of government first. Take control of who managed the public assets first. Then it was open season on the cities, broad daylight. You see this book on the left, The Bloody Shirt by Stephen Budiansky. You need it in your library. It describes this whole period in great detail. There's another book. Yep, there you go. There's another book called The Wars of Reconstruction by Douglas Egerton. That's another very powerful book that describes this period of history with exquisite detail. It's this history that organizations like the Daughters of the Confederacy don't want you to know. They try to literally whitewash this history. This is the history that DeSantis and them are trying to get rid of.
Exactly.
This history.
Exactly.
See? Look at the New York Herald newspaper lead page on the right of this slide. That was in the newspaper, people, in 1898. You see what it says? Whites killed Negroes in Sea City of Wilmington. By revolutionary methods, white citizens of North Carolina overturned existing city government and had once established their own. Yeah, that took place, man.
9 black men are shot down.
Oh, it was more than 9.
Yeah, man.
It was hundreds.
Whoa.
Yeah,
See,
Rosewood was a massacre. All that was a massacre back then. It was just pure massacre. It's economic too. You drive out the numbers, you neutralize that. Not my bad, Ron, but yeah, that's what it was. Because after, like as you mentioned, the Reconstruction, after the whole slavery thing was abolished, such and such, that's when unions came into play, and the industrial boom was to keep the slaves from getting standing up for themselves, because they realized you're no longer needed. So we started living amongst ourselves through segregation. We collective economics, and
that's a fact. We were forced to. We had no other choice. That's a fact. What were you going to say, Brother Ron?
I knew about Black Wall Street, and then there was another massacre that I knew about, but I didn't know it was this many places, man.
Oh yes, brother.
Yeah.
Oh yes.
Hey, you know what? That's kind of that's. I don't know why you showed me that, but anyway, go ahead.
It's happening again. Let's keep it funky like underarms. Gentrification is happening, but it's on a silent level, economically.
So think about what's happening in Florida with DeSantis, and in Alabama and Texas now, with basically book burning. See what I'm saying? Now you see it's this right here. They don't want people knowing. This is why the Daughters of the Confederacy started taking control of publication companies that publish school books. Mm-hmm. This is, like I said, the Confederacy never stopped fighting.
I'm about to leave, man. Yo, because everything that we're going through right now as a people in 2024,
you see it, right?
Of all of this stuff that was happening.
It's still happening. The play's still in effect. The play's still in effect.
Fighting. They only lost physically.
You see it happening now. They just got a different, name for it.
The extreme right, the evangelicals, and the Christian identity guys that we see today, the MAGA people, are literally the Confederate sympathizers. That's them. But notice, if you don't know this history, you can't put it together. See?
I had no idea, brother.
Yeah.
Y'all mess with yo. I'm a changed man. All right, let's
next slide.
Damn.
Yeah. All right. Now, see, I had to lay that foundation. You see what I'm saying? We were terrorized out of community economics. Period.
I don't mean to cut y'all off. I know y'all want to hear this, but you know what's throwing me off is, like I said, I thought it was just one area.
Oh no.
Mm-mm.
That many places?
Yes. Bro.
America's history is full of blood.
No,
Well,
I'm not talking about that.
Now, as homework for the viewers, let's go back to that. Go back to that slide, brother. 2 slides up. Go back to that slide. Not that one. That one too. But go back. That one.
Mm-hmm.
Take a screenshot of the slide and then do your own research. Prove me wrong if you can.
Now, this is my thing. If all of these places,
were quote unquote black cities, yes,
right, quote unquote black cities, they were thriving cities.
Yes.
Okay. So that right there, if that didn't happen in history, where the Europeans basically decimated these areas,
they took the cities over, brother.
Right. Then
hold on. One of the things I have to add this. One of the things that they did, and when I say this was orchestrated, because it was an organized effort. Guess what? One of the main things they would do when they would go into these cities, they go into City Hall and burn down City Hall to burn down all the records of land ownership.
So like Alexandria all over again. Same tactic.
That's what they did. They burnt down the City Hall so you couldn't prove you owned anything.
So let me ask you this: would this be kind of the same reason why Lord Abba is basically saying that we should go back to the South? Do you think that has anything to do with it?
It's possible. It's possible.
Going back to the South and helping to build up the South. I don't know. Maybe that has some kind of significance.
It's possible. It's possible.
Okay.
It's possible. It's possible.
If this didn't happen, then we would be on another level. Anyway, yeah.
You already, come on, brother. Of course.
Yeah, man.
Of course.
We wouldn't be in this.
Once again, the mere fact that these cities existed and were thriving did what? Remember, what's most important, I've said this many times on previous shows, what's most important is maintaining a narrative.
Yeah.
What's the narrative? Shuffling, ignorant, lazy Negroes eating watermelon and chicken.
Mm-hmm.
Good for nothing.
Not millionaires without the aid and assistance of Europeans.
Exactly.
See?
Yeah.
Okay. That's it. Got to maintain the narrative. Even if we got to bomb a city from an American city from the air.
And yes, they did.
That's a fact.
Was it the National Guard assisted them?
That's right. Black Wall Street.
Yeah. And that right there in itself is wow. Anyway, let's keep it going.
All right, next slide.
Bro, like
right. So already you see where we are moving into the New Deal era. But prior to the New Deal, okay, hold on. Remember the history we just went over. What was that the catalyst for? The great migration of Asiatics to the north.
Yep. So you got a disadvantage.
That is what Prophet Drew Ali and the Moorish Science to America capitalized on. That migration. Okay.
So that was a second reconstructing of Asiatics right there.
In a sense.
Yeah.
Now you got to remember, think about what we just looked at history-wise. Right? You had Rosewood, Florida in 1923. You had, matter of fact, you had Springfield, Illinois in 1908. Literally 20 years later, Prophet Drew Ali organizes over 5,000 members to vote. What? And they vote the very first quote unquote African American into Congress since when? See? The very first since Reconstruction. Do you understand how dangerous that is to the status quo?
Of course.
You realize that there were still reckless eyeball laws on the books in the 1920s?
Of course.
All right. Crazy. So, fast forward, you know, we're in a sense kind of skipping over that time period from the early 20s through to the stock market crash of 29 and the Great Depression. So we're right in the Great Depression right now. And Franklin Delano Roosevelt basically revives the country by reviving the economy with the New Deal. So here we are. That's where redlining comes from. That's where redlining comes from. The definition: refusal to issue a loan or insurance to someone because they live in an area deemed to be a poor financial risk.
Yo, bro, like
It's deep, man. It comes to show you this system. It was designed this way.
oh, hey, man, I can't even, man. Whoever says systematic racism doesn't exist is an idiot.
Thank you, brother.
Exactly.
You know how we used to say it? That which is understood need not be explained. I'm not going to waste my time trying to explain it to you.
Yeah.
Some people have complexes as well.
The only person I'm trying to explain it to is somebody who truly doesn't know.
Right.
Yeah, that's it.
The way you broke down that definition of redlining, right? Because you hear redlining, lining
Yes.
a lot, right? And you have like this general understanding of it, right?
Yes.
To like give the actual definition.
Yes. Ain't that crazy? You ready? You ready to take it further? Here we go. In the instant matter, the refusal is broadly applied along racial lines. Here we go. Beginning in 1934, the FHA, the Federal Housing Admission, bolstered existing segregationist tactics by declining to underwrite homes in predominantly Black communities. The FHA justified this official policy by describing Black neighborhoods as a what? Elevated risk.
Doomed by the stroke of a pen.
There you go, by the stroke of a pen. The end result increased home ownership among quote-unquote white Americans and decreased the same with quote-unquote Black Americans. It gets worse. Not only did the FHA refuse to insure homes in quote-unquote Black communities, it also actively fought integration and quote-unquote Black home ownership itself. Listen to this. In the rare cases of a quote-unquote Black family being able to afford to buy into a so-called white neighborhood with no government assistance, the FHA would reject mortgages in the area even for quote-unquote white occupants, under the pretense that the community was now under an increased threat of integration.
That's confirmation.
Ain't that crazy?
It is.
This crowded Asiatics or so-called Black residents into crowded urban areas and set the foundation for generational poverty. Why is this important relative to the racial wealth gap? Because anybody that has an inkling of an idea of how to generate wealth and pass it on knows that it's done by land ownership.
That's a fact. And hence, when that happened, you see, he said that happened in 1934, right?
Yes.
Was it a few later that the concept of public housing came into play? Right after that?
No. Public housing came into play before 34.
Before 34, yeah. So
FHA doing this stuff, it's subsidized.
Yeah.
It's subsidized suburbanism for Europeans.
Yeah.
In other words, it was federal government sponsored welfare for Europeans and denying the same to us. That's what it was, flat out. Flat out. That's what it was.
So this makes the reparations case stronger.
Hugely stronger.
Or argument, yeah.
Hugely. Hugely, of course.
This is deep, bro.
Yeah.
It's disgusting.
Yo, bro, I don't know. I don't know if you feel it, but I'm like, I'm not. I don't feel good, man.
Yeah.
Not like we always had an inkling, an idea of what took place. He went in depth with that, and you kind of see where all this happened. Like, this led what they say about our communities, disenfranchised and such.
Yes.
That's why they put us in those urban areas with projects.
So in the beginning of this presentation,
crazy.
when I said, in the present time, the victim is being blamed, that's an understatement, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right. Next slide. So there's a whole generation span in between the 1870s and the early in the 1930s. At least a generation, right? So now, after the 30s, 40s, or up into the 60s, whatever, you got a whole nother generation of our people that don't know what it's like, don't have an example of community economics, don't have an example of generational wealth, how to pass it down. What do you have at this point? Keeping your head above water, making a way when you can, temporary layoff, easy credit ripoff.
Good time.
All right. That's
scratching and surviving.
That's what you got. Ain't we lucky we got him?
Hey, and you know what? Just to let you know, the father, I forgot his name.
Yes.
John Amos.
That whole time he was married to a European.
The whole time.
Like the picture.
Right. All right. Now, this is a summary of other contributing factors. But now we're up to present. Our collective economic or spending power is set to expand from $910 billion from 2019 to $1.7 trillion by 2030. We outpace national spending, people.
Claude Anderson said it. Powernomics.
Yes.
If we were a nation, we'd be the second largest nation.
Second or third largest on the planet economically.
Yep.
Right. But we're 98% consumers.
Exactly.
But you know what? That's not even a necessarily a strike against us. If we understood discerning consumerism. And that's a part of what? Financial literacy. Yeah. What do I mean by discerning consumerism? Here we go. Understanding that power is not in the money. Power is in the choice in where, how, when, and with whom to spend it with. That's the power.
Reef, you on point. Ron, I was talking about that yesterday. Yeah. Remember, Ron? We was talking about that? Needs and wants.
Yeah. That's the power. You see what I'm saying? That's the power. You want the Koreans to let our people in to the quote-unquote black hair product industry? Boycott them for 6 weeks. Watch what happens.
Of course. Dr. King knew how that worked with the Montgomery.
Brother, a lot of people don't realize that because they haven't done the due diligence on the history of Dr. Martin Luther King's movement. Yeah. It wasn't the we shall over. That's not what did it. What did it was when they boycotted that bus service.
Economically, he hit them hard. They realized
crippled them.
Yep.
They crippled them so bad. Listen, they crippled them so bad that city down there, the Europeans quickly rushed and passed laws making it illegal. Listen to what I'm telling you. Making it illegal to carpool to work. Mm-hmm. To try to force the Asiatics back on the bus.
Yeah, man.
You see what I'm saying? That's what did it. That's what got Martin Luther King on the radar. He went in their pockets.
That's the only language they speak.
That's what did it.
And what they say, mathematics, that's all they know. Men lie, women lie, numbers don't.
Numbers don't. Prophet Noble Drew Ali said that the problems of the world are in a general sense, social and economic.
That's a fact.
All right, let's go. Our people are more likely, but now you know why. No. Keep it. Go back to the previous slide. I'm sorry. Now you know why. No, next one. There. Now you know why, because of the previous history we just gave you. Now you know why that we're more likely to live in consumer deserts and be underserved in all areas of consumption. Now you know why, though. See, it's one thing to say that, but without the history behind it, you'll think, oh, those people just like the dirt. Oh, they just like the way they live. That's just their culture. See? But you know the history now. See that? More likely to face systemic challenges that limit wealth building ability. Of course, redlining. See? But in addition to redlining, what did we have? Right? Federal government provided minimum wages, union rights, shout out to Mikey, he mentioned that, and Social Security to industrial workers. The industrial workers were predominantly European, while denying the same to agriculture and domestic workers, which were largely who? Us.
Yeah.
Next slide.
That's deep, Reef, because when the slaves were liberated, as they put it, they already had the skills already. They already know what to do.
That's
they
why
already
were like, this is for us.
Yeah.
See that?
Yeah.
Now let's talk about low or poor financial literacy. That was something that we did not transfer from Black Wall Street because it was terrorized out of us. Okay, now you know why we don't have it, right? Not just poor financial literacy, right? A very myopic and childish view of civics. Why? We were terrorized out of it.
Steve.
Literally terrorized out of it. All right. Brother Ron, you all right?
Yeah, man. Ron looked like yeah, he's got that look like
Ron about to take his fez off and put on the red, black, and green.
yeah, man. That's why you get that look.
Here we go.
Oh.
Poor community economics. Metro Edge is a company out of Texas. Also, they have a branch in Chicago. The city of Syracuse back in 2005 hired them to do a business viability study on the county, the county of Onondaga, and the city of Syracuse. Okay. These are two of the major points that came out of that study, people. 2 out of every $3 spent by our people is spent outside of the neighborhood, spent outside of the community. So now we contribute to the fact that we live in economic deserts.
That's a fact.
All right. Now, this other statistic is deplorable. And since we have the same habits nationwide in every urban center, these numbers are robust, or at least the percentages are robust all over the country. All right. The county of Onondaga, the median income was $35,000 at that time. The max spending potential per square mile per day is $82.50. That's not bad. But now, in the city of Syracuse, which is smaller than the county, in one district of the city, which is smaller than the city, and in one area of a district. You hear what I just did? Inside the county is the city of Syracuse. Inside the city of Syracuse is the 4th district. Inside the 4th district is a specific area that we now call the South Salina Trade Zone. This particular area, I'm not even talking about the district or the city. I'm talking about an area inside of a district, inside of the city, produces more revenue than any other place in the entire county. And anyone from Syracuse, New York knows the area that's called the South Salina Trade Zone is the hood. It's the hood, people. It is overwhelmingly our people. The median income in this area is $21,000. the max spending potential per square mile per day is $875. Now you know the number one reason why the Yemenis have bodegas in your hood.
Exactly. It all makes sense.
Why are you saying all this right now? Don't do this to me, right?
Now it's true. Yo,
What
it's
true, bro? I've been looking at I knew like man. Listen, y'all gotta rewind this because he breaks it down from the beginning up until this point. I don't even got nothing to say, man. I just want to let's keep it rolling, man.
as the quote unquote poor are the source for the rich.
Yes.
Without your blood, sweat, and tears, you have needs, desperation. They know what you need. They'll give it to you, even down to the element of crime with selling drugs or whatsoever. They know you need that to numb from the pain, so they're gonna put all that there for you.
But here's where it gets worse. Again, remember, there was a time when our people understood financial literacy.
Yeah,
there was a time when we understood community economics.
Yes, we did.
But we grew up in an environment and in a community where we're ignorant of it.
Exactly.
And it's very easy to believe that we never knew it.
To add on to that, Reef, what you say is so true, because let's talk about tax time for our people. What's the first thing they do?
Oh my God.
They go every year, somebody buy a new television. I don't get that. Every year there's a new television in the projects. We're in the urban city, 100 pairs of sneakers, people out eating, drinking. Then a month later, you got Easter time, so you got to get fly for Jesus.
Right.
You got to wear your Sunday's best and all that.
So brother Ron, do you now see better my position?
I see better your position.
Yes.
I just don't have nothing to say, brother. Because like the type of person that I am about the way I grew up, you know what I'm saying? My background and looking at my own family.
Yes.
And the community that we grew up in.
Yes.
Is just, this explains a lot, you know what I mean? Like, as to what happened with our family. And, I always knew, I was like, something's wrong. Like this family, the way it operates, it doesn't operate the way it should. Right. And, as far as socially and economically, and right now you're just breaking down the economics, and I'm just like, even more pissed. I'm about to I might put the red, black, and green on them all.
Innately, it's true, because we all came up in these areas, and when you look at it, it's like everyone around you. It's not a coincidence. You're like, what is going on? Why we all function like this?
But again, see, we're powerless to be effective in addressing it if we can't put our finger on the pulse of the problem.
Yeah.
And we can't put our finger on the pulse of the problem if we're missing key components of what actually happened.
Right. So there was a guy who said, what's his name? Man, he's an actor, Morgan Freeman.
Yes.
I forgot the brother's name. Asked him, is there anything, does racial or systematic racism affect, or maybe, stunts a person's financial growth and just growth in general or success? Yeah. And he says, no, look at me, look at you. We're both, but one thing he's missing is maybe you grew up completely different.
But also too, here's the other part too, right? You know what he's missing? He's missing the principle of community.
No, what I'm saying is he's not looking at his own family like maybe your family.
That's my input. I agree. That's my point. He's looking at himself as an individual. Look, I made it. No. I don't mean nothing.
Yeah.
It means nothing. It means nothing. That's like Barack Obama becoming president, and then the Dixiecrats that are now Republicans and they used to be Democrats are now saying, we're not a racist country, and they're publicly saying it now. We're not racist. Look, we gave you a black president. They will literally point at Obama and say we live in a post-racial America.
My best friend's black.
Crazy. Exactly. Crazy. See? Yeah. Like we don't know what we're looking at. Like we don't know what we're directly experiencing.
We're seeing it every day.
Thank you, brother. See,
Mhm.
see, that's not rain on your back. That's urine.
Right.
No matter how many times they tell you it's rain.
That's crazy, man.
Now, I say all that to say this. See, okay, we made it balanced, right? But now in the present day, this is just what it is. We have to be grown men and women. Sure, we could say, yeah, they did this and they did that and the other, and we're in this present condition now. But if
Exactly.
the moment we can put our finger on the pulse of the problem, we've just elected ourselves to contribute to solving the problem.
Exactly.
Can no longer point the finger. Because guess what? Community economics are principles, and principles are free. We don't got to ask nobody for nothing.
That's all
All
part
we
of
got
nation
to do
building.
is learn them and practice them.
Exactly.
See? Learn them and practice them. But we need certain components to be able to practice them. We need an environment to practice community economics.
Exactly.
Let's look at, give me an example of community economics. Chinatown.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Little Italy. Yep.
Koreatown in LA.
Great. Yep. I see it practice. You know where? Amongst the West Africans.
Yeah. But okay, now let's get to it.
Yeah.
What is the commonality for
Language.
control of economics in these places? Little Italy, Chinatown, Koreatown, Little Havana. What is the commonality? Let's repeat the names again.
The environment. Nation.
Chinatown,
Yep.
Little Italy, Koreatown. Look, what's the commonality, people?
Yeah, it's backed by nation. You cannot say this is they give you the so-called ghetto. You can't be like, well, I'm going to the hood because it's in
Next
our language
slide.
as well. I'm going to the hood, not a little Africa. Yeah.
There it is, people. Forbes Business School says culture is a company's single most powerful advantage. Here's why. Culture, people. Culture. Cultural heritage. What's another way to say cultural heritage, people? We can say it. Nationality. Culture sets the parameters that dictate the nature and flow of money in a community. In other words, it provides the glue. It provides the cohesiveness.
Right, because what I was thinking is, what's a part of the Asian culture is their religion. They're a lot of them are like Buddhists and stuff like that. And
all culture grows out of a particular nation's religious creed.
Right.
All culture. Yes. But America, it makes it unique. Why? Because we're a melting pot. So my Americanism is colored by my old world connections. That's why you got a Chinatown. It's American as apple pie, but it still reflects China. Little Italy is American as apple pie. It still reflects the old country, Italy. See? Cultural heritage both unifies a community and also attracts monies from outside the community.
Now, what I want to ask is, do you think that the Europeans were that clever to where they figured out or knew that if they replaced our culture with theirs, that we would be in the same position right now?
It's called slavery, of course. But it's mental slavery, it's economic slavery, it's political slavery, it's social slavery. It's still slavery. Let me read to you what the Prophet Noble Drew Ali said about it. To your point, in a divine warning by the Prophet for the nations. He said, he basically, in a very polite way, publicly called the European out. This is what he said. I love my people, and I desire their unity and mine back to their own free, national, and divine standard. because day by day they have been violating the national and constitutional laws of their government by claiming names and principles that are unconstitutional. Remember, the Constitution is not a legal document, it's a social document. The standard is a social standard, not a legal one. Then he says this is the call out. Listen close. If Italians, Greeks, English, Chinese, Japanese, Turks, and Arabians are forced to proclaim their free national name and religion before the constitutional government of the United States of America, it is no more than right that the law should be enforced upon all other Americans alike. In other words, what was he saying? He was saying, why don't you enforce this on the people you call Negroes? Ta-da. See? Why don't you enforce it on the Negroes? Why are they not forced to proclaim their free national name and religious creed like any of the other immigrants that come across? You see it now, brother Ron?
Yeah, it's crazy.
Listen, I was seeing it an hour ago, man.
Mm-hmm.
As soon as you started going there, I said, "Oh, I know where he's going with this."
So Reef,
Yes,
with all this being said,
yes.
correct me if I'm wrong. Are you alluding all this led up to this whole Project 2025 thing?
Man, Project 2025, yo, follow me. What we're talking about here, when we're talking about Americanization for the different national groups in America, you got Italian Americans, German Americans, English Americans, and you got Moorish Americans that are misnomered. But what comes with nationality? What comes with cultural heritage? See, Brother Mikey, you already know because you're very in tune with your own.
Of course.
There's stuff that comes with it automatically. What did the prophet call those things? Free national standards. You see what I'm saying? In other words, I got culture that's mine. My religious creed, which again, under the Constitution of the United States, the door of religious freedom swings open for all. Exactly. So that means, remember, culture is heavily influenced by religious creed. All right. So my Americanism is going to reflect my old world connection.
Exactly.
And Christianity ain't a part of that.
Of course. What they say, Ron? It's 551 years old.
Yeah.
Right. But you get my point?
Yeah, of course.
My Americanism is going to reflect my old world connection because my old world connection is my contribution to American society, like every other American citizen.
Of course.
Now, listen, follow me. What do we have? What is the present condition today? The present condition, socio-political climate today is you got a strong, far-right, pro-Christian socio-political voice. They're saying that this nation is a Christian nation.
Yep.
Okay, what's our old world expression? Come on, people. Culturally what? Islam.
Yep.
So what is Project 2025? The return to the Crusades, people.
Of course. Yeah. They were out there recently in Tennessee. They were protesting. Had they flags out and everything.
It's the return of the Crusades. And who was the target? You ain't got to believe it.
You're non-European, you're the target. Just know that.
But they know our history. What I just said, they know.
Exactly.
We're the new now I won't say new. We're the next Palestinians.
Of course.
All right.
It's been happening. Yo, you good, Ron? And like you said, nationality is the order of the day, but people who are melanated, it's not about.
But brother,
We're very close.
But brother Mikey, many of us, and I'm just have to say it, even in the movement, don't understand nationality fully.
Yeah, we got to stand together, people.
Yeah, they don't understand the significance.
Yeah, because
they don't understand the significance.
I don't know if you
do you know how complicated our issue is after that? Like,
yes,
it's so deep.
Yes,
and it has so many legs. And
yes,
layers.
You cannot be a lazy thinker. It ain't simple.
No.
Right.
And you yourself, you have to overcome so many things to overcome this yourself.
Ain't that something, brother?
So like we're speaking on it.
Right.
However, this the disease that we're dealing with is within us. You know what I mean?
Straight. It really, you see what you're touching on is you hit it perfectly, brother. The work starts here. We have to deprogram. We have to reprogram our thinking.
Yep.
We start to realize how badly we have been miseducated.
You don't have to say Islam, Sharif Bey, and the NYP family. Just say the NYP family because Sharif is definitely NYP.
Actual fact. That's
exactly. What Reef was saying, I'm gonna say for you guys out there that if y'all don't understand, you gotta disinfect that Negro in your mind. What I really want to say is that NIGGER. You gotta that mindset needs to be disinfected.
Straight up and down.
You're not what they call you.
The whole thing is it's like the Negro to be disinfected. You know how many parts of the Negro that has to be disinfected?
Oh,
it's like so many. It's like we needed this is why Elijah Muhammad and W.D. Farad spoke about separation.
Yeah.
Because it's like we need time almost. Like
but now let's talk about that real quick.
Mm-hmm.
Honorable Elijah Muhammad, salute to his work. Oh my goodness. But let's be real. And I'm not speaking against him or speaking radical at all. I'm actually speaking positively. I'm speaking complimentary. On the surface, yes, they said separation. We got to separate. Okay, cool. But you got to remember at the same time, what was he doing? He was doing business with Europeans.
Right. Yeah.
That's a fact.
Okay. So what was he really doing? He was doing something similar to what I read the prophet did in this public address. He was pulling the European and the status quo's card. He knew, come on, he was a student of prophecy. In the Bible, did Pharaoh let the people go when Moses said let them go? No. Elijah knew that the European isn't going to do that. What he was doing was forcing the Europeans' hand to say, not only we not going to let you go, Negro, we can't let you go. We depend on you.
Exactly. You're the source.
We can't do that.
We depend on you because how much money do we spend?
Thank you.
Money is green, baby. At the end of the day.
We keep this thing alive, brother.
Yeah.
That's true.
Man. Well, I don't know if you're done. I'm pretty much I'm ready to go stretch, read, meditate.
It's a lot to think about. Yeah. We need to be on the same side, people. We need to
it's a lot to do after that. Like it's like action now. Now that you know you gotta kill, you know what I'm saying? Whatever's going on in there. Now you got to start working on it.
Real talk.
If we all operate under one code, things will be good.
Now,
put aside your differences.
But now, hold on. People always, especially in the so-called conscious community or world community, people want to talk about certain knowledge or certain things are dangerous. Mm-hmm. Remember what J. Edgar Hoover said when he was publicly asked, "What is the greatest threat to U.S. national security?" He said, "Negro."
The Messiah. Yeah.
He said that too. Yeah. Which was very telling. He said we got to prevent with the whole COINTELPRO thing, prevent the rise of a black messiah. Why would he said messiah? Who did he just make himself in religious patterns, in religious mythos? Who did he make himself? Herod.
Mm-hmm.
He made himself Herod by saying that.
He knew what time it was.
He knew what time it was.
Because Malcolm did it, Elijah did it, Noble Drew Ali did it.
So the question has to be asked by everybody when he's asked publicly in an interview, what is in his opinion, the greatest threat to U.S. security, national security? He said Negro unity.
Of course.
We see, he knew some things that the average American didn't know.
Of course.
But now after the show, you know.
Yeah. When there's 3 or more, God is in effect right there.
Actual fact.
And for our people, don't be spookified by this stuff, because a lot of this is occult knowledge too that they beating you with. They don't tell you that, but a lot of it is esoteric and occult. They're using your own craft against you.
Your own tech. That's right, brother.
Exactly.
Your own technology. That's right. One last thing I want to say, because I want to go over the bottom parts of this slide. Right? Culture. It sets the ground floor for community economics and works to insulate the community financially. Well, let me go back up. It unifies a community and attracts revenue from outside the community. Why? We talked about this before. You go to a Chinese restaurant in Chinatown, you can't eat, maybe you can't use chopsticks, but guess what you do? You try. Why? Because you're not just buying the food, you're buying the experience. And the experience is culture. See that?
Exactly.
So people go to places like this. Why? Because they're literally paying to experience the culture. Right. Imagine a restaurant selling Moorish American cuisine in Westchester County, and it's called the Alhambra. I ain't got to go any further. See what I'm saying? What sells it? Culture.
Exactly.
See?
It's crazy.
Who would come? Everybody, especially Europeans.
Of course.
All right. This is how culture directly influences and steers economics in a community.
Brother Reese, you knocked this out, bro. You killed this, bro.
And then the last thing, cultural heritage is comprised of 4 things. Common national origin. Why are we Moorish Americans? Because we're descendants of Moroccans. Pause. Right? Then the second thing, common American experience. We're descendants of Moroccans and what? Born in America. There we go. Common American experience. Let's take the message, Melly Mel, right? Broken glass, you know, okay, I don't care what urban center you were from, you could relate. All right. Potential for a microeconomy. There's the culture piece. Get it? Where we can insulate our money and it circulates at least 9 times before it leaves.
Exactly.
See, it wasn't necessarily culture that did that at Black Wall Street. It was Jim Crowism and segregation that insulated the money. You weren't allowed to spend outside.
But you said that a few shows ago. We're going to be forced into doing so. Yeah. Project 2025 would teach you that. You're going to be forced.
Project 2025 is going to have Asiatics running to get to the temple.
Yeah.
See? And then the last thing, social political unity. We leverage our numbers in the political arena to shape society in our community to our benefit. Every last one of these things Prophet Noble Drew Ali did in the year 1928. See? And did it publicly in a big way.
Damn.
See?
This is deep, man.
Sure. You good, Ron?
Yeah, man. Yeah. Yeah,
I'm about to pull out the RBG.
I know, right?
Yo, man, I don't mean to be like that, y'all. Pardon me. My mind is going. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
like just connected all the dots.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And it's just like, all right, now, got to make a move. You know what I'm saying? Got to do something.
Now it's time to. Now it's action plan. Right.
Yeah.
Now it's action plan. Yeah.
We have to kill our inner Negro, man.
Yeah.
Sorry to put it like that.
No,
Do you know how hard that is, though, bro? Do you understand? Like it's easy to say. Like even people who say kill it in the Negro. Yeah. They're trying to do it too, but they're dealing with this too.
Yeah, that's what we got to start from there.
How many areas are you dealing with the inner Negro in your
now watch this.
Diet?
You
What we
know,
consume?
let me just give you a quote that's attributed to Prophet Noble Drew Ali,
Mm-hmm.
relative to what you just said. Okay, this quote is attributed to Drew Ali. I can't verify it 100%, but it definitely makes the point. Allegedly, he said, "A sword and a 45 are gonna make understanding fly."
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's a fact.
In other words, Brother Ron, the outer conditions, as bad as they are right now, aren't yet bad enough.
I mean, I don't know, man. I mean, the way I see it, it's just a lot of crazy stuff going on, and it's blatant disrespect to our people and
Yes.
our
Exactly.
disrespecting ourselves,
Yes.
and just straight foolishness going on right now, and a lot of killing. These shorties don't care.
Nope.
Exactly.
They don't have the teachings like we had coming up. They
Right.
don't, they're not guided by the OGs.
Nope.
Even if they are in the streets, they just out there running amok.
They're
There's
just
no
out there with their
structure,
head
there's
shot.
no order. It's just straight chaos. But it's a how can I say? It's a glorified chaos though. It's like because like online you see, these kids are talking about crashing out, spinning, shooting, and it makes it look cool.
Demon time, all of that.
It's not cool.
Right.
No.
Let me tell you why. As Reef said, back to financial literacy and everything else. You go online, you imitate what you see on television, you glorifying the hood life. You told, as you mentioned, crashing out.
Yep.
So now when your life get taken, you make your mother cry twice. Number one, because she lost you. Number two, she doesn't have the funds to bury you.
Thinking about
you understand?
But Mike, they're not even thinking about that. It's not even because the it's become the street life has already been a quote culture, so to speak, right?
Yes.
But now it's way more glorified than it ever was.
But the glorification is an overt attack. We have to learn to see it that way and then educate to the best of our ability those that don't see it that way. It's an attack. You think Sexy Red is not an attack on sisters?
I was looking into it, like the people who own the label and stuff, and I want to present on that at some point, but I want you brothers and sisters to like really look at the people who are behind these artists, But the thing about it is, you can't really blame the kids though, because she's like 25, right?
Right, she's young.
She's 25. She's from St. Louis.
Right.
She's a blood from St. Louis. Come on, you know what's going on out there, man. She don't know no better. If she didn't get into hip hop, what would she do?
No, brother. That's my point. I'm not blaming Sexy Red. You know, and I know that they don't make themselves stars these days.
They don't. It's a machine behind them.
And the machine made her. They're literally saying, you got to rap about this. You got to rap about that. My blank blank is pink and my blank blank is brown. And What?
Yeah, and if you don't, you're going back to the ghetto where you belong. I'm telling you that right now.
This is what's gonna get the money, and this is what's gonna get you the sign, and this is what's gonna get. So this is what you got to do. They're
Like
literally being told that.
I've been looking into you know, I like to watch the youth and what's going on because I like to see the future because they say, you know, the children are the future. So I you know, and the babies are the greatest. Allah said the babies are the greatest. So that's kind of like my mindset. So I'm always looking at what the kids are doing. You know what I'm saying? I'm always looking at what the kids are into. And the culture of now is like really like demonic, if you will. No spooky, but like like demonic, man. Like
in other words, our work is cut out, bro.
that's what I'm saying. Like, and then we're talking about helping this situation and this condition. And I would say we are in some cases, you know, I don't want to say responsible, but
no, you can say it, bro. We are.
We didn't do anything about it. We were supposed to like, you know, pull these somehow. We were supposed to be kept building. I don't know what we were supposed to do. You know what I'm saying? Because I've tried over the years things. You know, but you know, maybe we should have been knocking on people's doors and like teaching them, like, you know, and stuff like that. Who knows? But you know, we have our work cut out for us, man. This is a real deep situation, and you know, we have to become stronger as men to
we really have to be, as our literature says, the strength of Allah made manifest, or as close as we can get to it.
Exactly.
In the shortest amount of time.
Oh man, yo,
Ron and Reef. You know.
Yo, I was thinking the same thing in the shortest amount of time, bro.
Not what you guys say is so real, but you know what else could have done it in the community for years, but they haven't done it. The place that our grandmothers all went to every Sunday. That was a ground for politics and whatever else that took place in our community, right? But they sold out. They compromised.
Yes.
Look what they tolerate in their church. I'm not bashing nobody, but I never seen a church with a first man. I heard a first woman, but now this is what they're doing. But I'm gonna leave that right there. Those who know will know what I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Let's act.
You know, bro. It's listen.
You know what I'm saying?
We're literally okay. Here we go. We say in the Moorish science tool of America, thinking, understanding, reasoning, and willing. Call these not the soul, they are its actions, there's not its essence, right?
Mm-hmm.
We also say that man's ideal is his God. As man unfolds, as God unfolds.
Yep.
What we're dealing with the War of Armageddon is two ideas on the scene. Two gods on the scene. Two ideas. And that war takes place where? In the biblical text? In heaven. What heaven?
Your mind.
There you go, brother.
Exactly.
It's a war of narratives. The war is fought on the thought level, people. It's fought on the thought level. It has physical effects, but it's fought on the thought level. It's the narrative. They'll spend millions of dollars to create a sexy red or a Glorilla. Come on, people.
Let's talk about it.
For the purpose of what? Maintaining and bolstering a narrative.
That's it.
Now I've been now, because this is just me, I'm just like a martial arts guy. I like the military stuff. I like soldiers. I like warriors. So I look at warriors in all facets of life, right?
Yeah.
So speaking of one, y'all gonna think I'm crazy, but I've been really like watching King Von a lot, right?
Oh yeah.
So I've been like really watching this kid because he really moved like a real live soldier.
Yes.
And I'm just the thing. If you watch Trap Ross's a video about King Von, it just, to me, it amazes me to see that these companies would invest money into someone like that who is reported as to being a basically like a serial killer.
Black Death.
So what would give a record company the idea to say this guy is talented, you know, but he has a long rap sheet and he may be a serial killer? Let's sign him,
brother. Shout out to our good brother, Dr. Wesley Muhammad. He spoke to this in an interview where you've got two different narratives. One isn't spoken of as much, but one is spoken of more. So you've got the one Negro narrative of the step and fetch it, the shiftless, lazy, cowardly, ignorant guy. Then you have another one where we get the term bad man from. They call him the bully coon.
What? That's something?
Yes.
Come on. Now I gotta research this.
The bully coon got his hat cocked to the side like this.
Wait, hold on.
With the switchblade.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Yeah. Oh wow.
Crazy.
Or not the switchblade, but the straight razor.
The straight razor. The straight razor. Yep.
Yeah. That's the bully coon.
That narrative needs to change, man. It's all about the narrative.
Oh,
that's
yeah.
the bully coon.
Looking at this
oh
right
yeah,
now.
he's a bad guy, but he's only a bad guy to people that look just like him.
The bully coon.
And in the words of Neely Field Jr.,
yes,
the black man's the toughest coward on earth.
No, I said that. That's my question. I made that up.
Oh, you made that up? All right. All right. Neely Fuller, but he did say that. He did say that. But he took it.
Guess what? That's the bully coon. I like how Sanika Shakur said it. The late Sanika Shakur, Monster Cody. I like how he
shout out to Monster Cody.
Yeah, I like how he said it in his book. He said our people, especially the men, right, we're easy to kill because we're scared of everything.
That's a fact. Because and shout out to my, as Ron, shout out to my brother Ron. Last night I seen him on somebody's page on Instagram.
Yep.
Correcting something. I jumped in as well. I was like, I'm not gonna ride out for people that's gonna pull a trigger on me the next day.
Come on.
As Pac said it, I thought I'll never get shot by another black man until a black man pulled the trigger on me. Woo. You understand? It's true. You go out there, protest, hit the streets, no peace, no justice. Next day, one trying to bust your head open.
That's another reason why we said that this is a war of narratives.
Of course.
Bro, this is the Matrix. Like anybody next to you could, next thing you know, be Agent Smith.
Exactly.
Because we're fighting thoughts, people.
And there's a lot of them out there too. That's wearing feathers too.
Fighting thoughts.
That's the key. That is the key, man.
Yeah. We have a lot of agents out here that's part RBG, some wearing bow ties, some wearing fez. You know what I'm saying? And they will betray you in a second.
In a hot second.
As Dessalines says, before the revolution starts, we gotta get rid of the collaborators first.
Yeah, but we gotta never forget. Listen. We gotta never forget that the thoughts we're fighting.
Yeah, that's the scariest part. The thought.
The thoughts, people.
And so many of them.
Yes. Their thoughts.
I'm gonna give you some. You got food thoughts.
Yes.
You got sex thoughts.
Yes.
Yeah.
You got violent thoughts.
Remember what Prophet Drew Ali taught us? He said the sin lies in the wish and the desire, not the act.
Right.
If you thought about it, you did it.
Right.
Yeah.
What were you saying about desires?
Yeah, subdue your passions and desires, man.
That's right. He said we use the compass to draw circles around our passions and desires and keep them within the bounds of righteousness.
Right.
Of course. Talk on that, yo. and we on the level with that.
You already know. That's right. That's right.
That's
right.
That is key. Well, hey, we're gonna click off right now. See you, brothers, another time. I gotta let this marinate for a second.
No doubt.
I'm gonna build with y'all. Thanks for the viewers. I really appreciate you.
Brother Brief. Love, bro.
Yes, sir. Exactly.
Another banger. Really appreciate y'all.
Yeah.
See y'all tomorrow, 7:30 to 9:30. Peace.
Peace.